always the case, they say failure is an orphan, but success have many relations. One, I look at the things that transpired between Arsenal and Manchester City and how the fans are going frenzy and getting very upset. Some of them call for the head of Mikel Arteta. Some of them call for the head of Kepa Arrizabalaga. And some of them even call for the head of Kai Havertz. And one were on the live stream and somebody almost cursed. That's one of the things you get when people become emotional when watching games. Even my family members refused to call me after the game ended. It's one of those things. But I've grown past this issue of where I need to get into doldrums when we lose a game. I always believe that there are lessons that are meant to be learned. But when you look at this match between Arsenal and Manchester City, and if you clearly watched my match preview, I said, look, if any side is going to win this game, it's going to be a battle of tactical weight or tactical twist. And it's going to be the team that makes the mistake that will lose, and the team that is able to take advantage of those mistakes that will win. And that was exactly what transpired. And any side that makes a niggling mistake will pay costly for it. This is where I believe that Mikel Arteta needs to drum it into the eardrums of our stars. And I even went forward to say, this is how Arsenal must play if they want to truly win against Manchester City. I haven't said that, look, a lion dead or alive is still dangerous. Arsenal failed to play on the front foot. They failed to win the first ball. Arsenal were not clinical enough. And these are the things that we're guilty of. Yes, take it or leave it. Kepa Arrizabalaga had a clunger when he missed that ball that he was supposed to hold. Nobody was competing with him. Nobody was contesting the ball with him. I missed it. But when the goalkeeper misses a ball, there's somebody that is there in the back line that's supposed to clear the line. Zubimendi was not there. I'm one person that have been calling for Zubimendi to be benched. But now don't take the trail off what I'm going to be saying, because it is not about calling for the head of Mikel Arteta. Let's start from Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta took this Arsenal team from the doldrum of negativity to where we are today. Today, Arsenal fan, or rather as an Arsenal fan, I can turn my chest and really boast that we're doing the market thing and we're competing for every title out there. One man brought us to this situation where we are, and the project is still on. No thanks to the COVID situation, but that is not the challenge now. But we must always try to look back at the things that were done wrongly and done correctly in order to foster forward in the future. Whether you like it or not, I'm one of those that believe that Mikel Arteta has truly brought us from the doldrum of dust to where we are today. Today, as a fan base, we can unanimously say that we're singing towards the same trajectory. Look at how many coaches that United have changed and Chelsea have changed, and yet they're not getting it right. But we stuck to one man, and yet some of us among the fan base believe that Mikel Arteta is not the right man. Who is the right man? Some of us even postulated the fact that Unai Emery should have been given enough chance. But Unai Emery today is in a club where he's not been challenged, he's not under pressure. And look at how much they are flattering. But talk about how our fan base were in disarray and how everybody was singing from different perspectives. The one man came and brought us together in unison and were singing towards the same trajectory. If it doesn't work out well, or it didn't work out well in the final, it is important that as a fan base that will come united and stay strong and remain formidable and support the gaffer and the boys. I could remember vividly in the last couple of weeks when Manchester City played and they fluttered. They lost home and away. They were nowhere to be found. But at the end of the game, the Man City fans applauded them. And they're applauding their failure to have gone past a badly assembled Real Madrid side. But yet, the belief that that support is enough to give them a moral booster for them to go forward. Don't take it away from me. The truth is that the Carabao Cup would have been the icing on the cake for us to go ahead. I'm one person that truly believed that we're supposed to win the quadruple. But it didn't happen. Is that the end of the world? Just how Declan Rice said. He said it is a final, we love the final. That it makes us stronger and hungrier to end the season in a strong perspective. That is the spirit. But now, coming to think about this match, from my point of view, In case you're joining us from any part of the globe, it is my point of view. There are a lot of things that went in disarray in this game. One, the Arsenal players did not come collectively in unison for the party. They came in parts. And because we came in parts, that disrupted the flow of play. I was watching the game in 2035, even though we had Man City by their balls in the first 45 minutes, I still didn't see where the goal was going to come. If you truly watched it on the live stream, I was telling my teammates, I was saying, look, I don't see where the goals are going to come, even though some of them were predicting 4-0, 3-0. I predicted 2-1 because I believed that no matter how bad the Man City were, they were going to get a goal. But truth be said, I didn't see where the goal was going to come, especially when Captain Fantastic was not fit enough to start in this game. Not even to talk about a Perry Chaser that was beginning to find his momentum in games. That, first of all, put the question mark in my thoughts. But come to think of it, this game was a game where we had only 4 lads turning up, or basically, I would say 5 lads. Gabriel Magalhaes, Saliba, Piero Hincapié, Declan Rice, and Calafiori, who came later in the game. These were the guys that turned up for the game. The rest of them were on holiday. They went on a roll. And this was the reason why we could not take the opportunity that we had on a G-threat, or rather a G3 Man City side. They were scared to their marrow. A Man City side that were waiting for us to clear the ball out. They could not come attacking us the way they used to do. We had our chances, but we fluffed our lines. And that comes to the point where I said, how clinical we are. Because Arsenal, we have opportunities in every game. But how clinical are we in taking those chances? Because that might be the only opportunity that you have at the end of the game. We had a ball that hit the crossbar. We had Kai Havertz failing to find the back of the net. We had Calafiori shooting a ball that went across the goal mouth. These were opportunities that would have taken if we were clinical enough to go. But the reason why I'm making this from the point of view today is for us to make a clarion call, a rallying call for every Arsenal fan, for them to understand that it is not over. It is one Carabao Cup final that we lost. As much as you want to believe, Carabao Cup is a super competition. It is important for us to also win it. It doesn't matter how some people will describe the Community Shield as a plate of rice. But the truth of the matter is that it is a trophy that we need to win, whether we like it or not. We're supposed to win this and go on forward to do the marketing. These are the things that we're looking at for. But unfortunately, we did not come to the party. But I want to call out certain players in this game against Manchester City that failed us woefully. Our star boy, the young man that I love, the young man that carried Arsenal on his shoulder at the age of 17 and 18 and 20. He has gone on a wall, Bukayo Saka. I want to mention in one of our shows, I said, I don't know whether the 300,000 pounds weekly payment has become a snag within the Arsenal team, especially when I recall that we paid Aubameyang the same amount and he went on a wall. The goals dried up the moment we paid him that amount. Bukayo Saka now is not playing well. I wouldn't know, in quote, whether he's playing to qualify for the World Cup or he's playing to be safe, not to get injured. He's not taking the brunt of the teams on his shoulders the way he used to do. How would you describe also the negative play of Zubimendi? That is the only place I want to blame Mikel Arteta, because I've called relentlessly for the playing time for Christian Norgard. You've played him as a right back, as a central defense, as a DM. He has excelled in these games. Sometimes you need to trust him because the man has full experience in the Premier League. He has played in the Premier League for Brentford as a captain for several years. But why are you not giving him the chance? Zubimendi was lost completely in that game. Zubimendi, in the absence of the Berichez and Martin Odegaard, was supposed to be the man that drive the ball forward for us in the final third. He was lost completely. He was not in the game. Same thing with Bukayo Saka. We only saw flashes of him where he was trying to take the ball from the right to the left. Only when Noni Madueke came into the game and we saw him trying to move forward with the ball. Sometimes there are things that you don't have to lose. If you have the balls to play Storman against Everton, you would have still tried him against Man City. But the question is, when you are putting on this cannon and you trudge onto that pitch, you are supposed to do the yeoman's job. It's not a question of who played the game and who did not play and all that, but it's a question about the mentality and capacity thinking of our players. For them to say, we have come this far, we need to take this across the line. I always say the most difficult part of every competition is getting across the line, not especially when you have capitulated on 3 occasions. It is always difficult. Whether you like it or not, I recall when Mikel Obi was saying that he sees Arteta, he's tense, the players are tense, everybody gets tense. Even doing this show at this point, no matter how many times I get on the camera, every now and then, whether on a typical daily basis, I still have rumbling of butterflies in my tummy. It doesn't mean that I'm not confident. It doesn't account about my experience, but it's all about natural well-being of our state of mind. Because you're going to be competing with somebody else. In as much as you want to win, they also want to win. So as a fan base, I'm using the opportunity to make a rallying call to all our fans globally wherever we are, especially those fans that throng every weekend at the Emirates Stadium. This is the time that we need to go about with a rallying cry, with a rallying noise. Even when our boys are not playing well, we need to come alive. We need to make Emirates Stadium and any place we are playing with strength, with presence, with audacity, with a roaring noise. That is what we need to do as fans to help these players get across the line. They've done so well. We've had a situation where we had 7 players injured in the season, and yet we're still on the summit, leading the summit. This is the time for us as fans to support our own. And whether you like it or not, if you are the one that is on the side of Arteta out, I truly believe that you don't know what you're talking about. Because Arteta took us from the doldrum of debris and brought us to where we are today. Competing strongly in the Champions League, competing strongly in the FA Cup as well as the Premier League. And we only lost the Carabao Cup. It is not the end of the world. But it is a shame that we failed to turn up for the party one we expected to be at the loudest. But it's a learning curve. It's for us to understand what we need to do. And who want to blame? Somebody said, Mikel Arteta should never start Kepa Arrizabalaga. But truth be said, Kepa Arrizabalaga is the man that took us from the first outside of the game to the final. So it is worthy that you should have allowed him to play. So if Man City had won yesterday, they had lost. I beg your pardon. If they have lost against Arsenal, would you have blamed Pep Guardiola for playing Salford rather than Donnarumma? The same O'Reilly that scored against us was the same player. Everybody within the Man City fan base and the opposition fan base were saying Pep Guardiola gambled. He should never have played O'Reilly as a defender, but he scored as a defender. So sometimes the postulation and permutations that we bring into games is always the best. We sit in our couch, we sit in the stadium, and we think we know the best. But coaching isn't an easy job. So what we need to do at this point, I like what Mikel Arteta said when he said we need to bring the temperature down, we need to look ourselves in the mirror and think about how much we desire to get this across the line. It is important for us as a people, as fan base, to really have that rallying support towards our Arsenal. Until I come your way again, don't forget, it is always, from my point of view, it is keep it tight and keep loving this badge.